Los Angeles. We're at Dodger Stadium. Fans are waiting to get into this ballpark to catch Game 3 of this 4-game weekend set. The Cubbies are in town from the north side of Chicago, taking on the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers on a Saturday night in L.A. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. That's the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Fun series so far. And when you think about the Dodgers, the world champs, coming into the season, everybody thought it would be just a two-team race in the NL West. Well, not so fast. The San Francisco Giants are leading 4.5 games up in the division. And tonight, Julio Urias gets the ball for the Dodgers. The last time you and I saw Urias, he was just dominating the postseason for LA.
He sure was. You can make an argument he might have been the Dodgers MVP. Closed out Game 6, and he was very versatile. His numbers were dynamic and electric. His stuff was perfect, and his heartbeat was slow. Well, the season starts. He's a starter, and he's been dominant in those first 10 starts, 7-1. And lately, he's hit a little bit of a hiccup like every starter does. Knowing you're going to get the ball every 5 days is something special and different this year for Urias. Look for him to be a better and more aggressive pitcher tonight.
That's what Dave Roberts told us before tonight's game. Meanwhile, for the Chicago Cubs, there they are right there toward the top in the Central Division in the National League. Just a game back. Milwaukee is late in their ball game at the moment. And so whereas early with all these pending free agents, it felt like, well, other GMs were going to look through the roster like a buffet. Now it looks like the Cubs, with the way they've played, they're going to be looking at other rosters to try to help get them into better position down the stretch.
It really is an amazing turnaround. When you talk about the beginning of the season, everybody talked about this team and where their stars were going to go.
They didn't have enough. Well, they've had enough, and they've been patient enough. David Ross done a nice job. They're in position to compete for a division title. The offense has been good enough. The pitching's been good enough, but the bullpen's been great.
Yeah, bullpen has been outstanding. We get set on a beautiful night. Alec Mills, Julio Urias, Cubs and Dodgers coming up. Legendary Los Angeles tattoo artist Mr. Cartoon started the day off on Fox. Now it's the Cubs who are hoping to leave their mark, while the Dodgers are looking to create a masterpiece. Sit back, get some ink, and enjoy. It's baseball night in America. Next. Trying to gain some traction. 81 degrees. They complain about 81 degrees in Los Angeles. Oh, it's so hot. It's so hot. I'll show you hot. Come to the Midwest. Here's the Cubs lineup. David Ross put it together like this. Wilson Contreras leading off. Chris Bryant bats second. Anthony Rizzo hits third. In the middle, Javier Baez. Patrick Wisdom has been a sensation. Jake Marisnick is healthy, back and starting in center. Jason Hayward in right. Sergio Alcantara is at second base. And Alec Mills pitching and batting ninth. And that group taking on the lefty. You saw the splits, if you want to call them that, with the first 10 starts compared to the last 5 for Julio Urias. But I think Dave Roberts, his manager, is excited to see how aggressive he is in tonight's game to try to get back to how he started this season.
Yeah, you know, a lot of run support early and just some secondary pitches and some 2-strike pitches he's got to clean up. Too many home runs with 2 strikes. He's an aggressive pitcher, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, and he's going to have to be more aggressive, I think, in his mindset, and that's what Dave Roberts is basically trying to get out of his young pitcher for today's performance.
Yeah, just to put stats with it, he's allowed 13 home runs, 8 of them with 2 strikes. His stuff is better than that. He proved that in October. As Contreras steps in, away we go, and both were aggressive. Urias came right after him, and Contreras shoots it foul, strike 1.
Well, the one thing that Urias will do and has done all year, he gets to 2 strikes in the first 3 pitches at a huge percentage, meaning he gets in 2 strikes. He's just got to make a better 2-strike pitch when he's in that position.
2 quick strikes. Contreras, one of 3 hitters in the lineup with huge numbers against left-handed pitching this season. Hitting .333, and he's on that list with Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. Top 3 hitters in this lineup. Next pitch is down, ball 1. Here are those numbers with Contreras, Bryant, and Rizzo, and what they've done against left-handed pitching versus right-handed pitching. Big difference. One-two pitch is upstairs, 2-2.
Good pitch, didn't get the call. Look for the curveball tonight to come off that fastball. The high fastball has actually been the pitch that the hitters have done the most damage against on Urias. Now it's different to throw a high fastball out of the relieving role.
That is down from 0-2 to 3-2.
And what I mean by that is you can let it eat out of the role that he had last year, and his fastball velocity is going to go up. But as a starter, you want a controlled mindset, and you want to throw the ball primarily where your target is, but you don't have as much velocity on it as a starter.
3-2 pitch is popped up right side and easy into shallow right for Betts. One away. Dodger pitchers tonight, Urias would like to get through the first inning without allowing a home run. They've allowed at least one first inning home run over their last 5 games. That includes that 3-game sweep in San Diego. And the Dodgers are tired of hearing about how they're 3-7 this year against the Padres as Kris Bryant steps in, hitting .273. Homered here last night, was on that list.
He's enjoying left-handers on the year, doing damage against fastballs, and seems to be more like himself. A little bit of a dip like every hitter goes through. Started off showing he's healthy, and of course all eyes on Kris Bryant this year.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's that homer from last night. Gonsolin was pretty good. They're trying to get him stretched out, back into shape, pitching shape. Slowed by a sore shoulder early in the year. Bryant took him out. That was the only hit he gave up in 4 innings. And they would love to get him rolling. Really a big part of the puzzle last year for the Dodgers. That's foul, strike 2. So Bryant has not had a very fun month of June. He and the Cubs averages below 200 as a team, and Bryant hoping that he can get back to where he was in April and May, because he was in the early MVP talk around the league with the way he got out of the gate, but hitting just 132 this month.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the season for the Cubs. A little bit of up and down in their offense, just a little bit of inconsistency, but enough timing in their bullpen and really timing in their season to be only 1 game out of first. I think a lot of credit needs to be given to the players, but that man as well, because it's easy in this game to give up on guys or run low on confidence and make changes.
Breaking ball, and he struck him out as Bryant goes down swinging 2 away.
And those changes came in, Joe, with some of the players that brought a different element to the game, some more contact, you know, things that weren't just reliant on the home run. You see that breaking ball. That's the one pitch against lefties that Bryant has trouble. Like Horner got hot, and guys like Wisdom came in, and we talked to David Ross, and he said, yeah, that was a byproduct of getting the ball in play and doing some little things that, you know, we needed at the time.
Here's Rizzo. David Ross really categorizes himself as more of a small ball manager. He would rather see better contact. I guess in the game today, what manager wouldn't?
Right.
But get guys on, steal a base, get them over with a ground ball, get a run home with a fly ball. I mean, those are lost arts, it seems, across baseball. But Ross wants to see more of that, and they're excited to get Nico Horner back, who was off to a great start, then strained his hamstring, and the clock is about to start on his return, and he's a big
Piece of that sort of puzzle for Ross. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rizzo. One ball, 2 strikes on Rizzo.
Rizzo needs to get going a little bit too for the Cubs. He's actually had reverse splits this year, hit much better off of left-handers than he has right-handers. That should change, as he is a mainstay here in this Cubs lineup.
Shift is on the infield. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and foul back to the screen.
It's been consistent production from Anthony Rizzo. 5th in baseball in RBIs since 2015. And a free agent to be, and a beloved player for good reason in Chicago. 1-2 pitch is hammered down the line. It is hooking foul.
Yeah, one of the unique hitters in our game. Right on top of the plate, doesn't mind getting hit. What he does is he takes away the outside part of the plate for the pitcher. So what he's banking on is the most, you see those most RBIs. He's banking that you can't bury a pitch inside on him. And he will take away the outside pitch about 3 to 4 inches off the plate.
Strikeout for Urias, and a good start for the Dodger lefty. Bottom of the first rolls in LA on a Saturday, no score.
Here's a Dodger lineup. Mookie Betts, you saw him walk. You got a sneak peek. You saw him walking toward the plate. He's first up. Max Muncy went deep last night. Justin Turner hits third. Will Smith, Gavin Lux, Chris Taylor in the middle. A.J. Pollock, Zach McKinstry gets the start, and Urias 6 for 27 swinging the bat this season. Bats ninth. Here's Alec Mills, who has been better as a starter than he was kind of trying to find his role and his spot out of the bullpen this season for the Cubs, as he deals a strike to Mookie Betts.
Well, the Cubs have a unique starting rotation. It's the slowest average velocity in all of baseball. Somebody's got to be the slowest, right? Well, what they've got is guys that know how to pitch, change speeds, and change locations. And what you saw out of Zach Davies, of course, he contributed to that no-hitter. Kyle Hendricks, and now Alex Mills. We're going to see a really, really slow breaking ball at some point today.
1-1 to Betts is in at the knees, strike 2. Alec coming off a win over Miami with 5 shutout innings, a 2-1 win Sunday at Wrigley, and I'll put some numbers to the stats for him and for the Cubs starters compared to bullpen. That's outside. 2-2. Starting rotation has an ERA of just over 4.5. The bullpen at 2.7, which is number 1 in baseball. 2-2 pitch. Jammed him. Foul ball.
And so what happens, Joe, when you don't have that velocity you can rely on, your location is the number 1 and most important part of your pitching. And the ability to change speeds in that location is going to be key for today's success against a really good Dodgers lineup that makes you pay for your mistakes.
That is into left field down the line and past Bryant to the wall. Betts digging for second. He will hold with a leadoff double to start the night for the Dodgers. And Bryant grabbing at his wrist after trying with a dive to come up with that ball. Just missed it.
Well, as Mookie goes, the Dodgers go. He hasn't been his normal self. He's missed some games, and he's been a little streaky, and that fastball inside just outside the reach of Bryant, who it was worth the effort if you can make sure the guy doesn't go to third. Diving for a ball is never that bad as an outfielder, unless it's a leadoff triple.
So it's a leadoff double, and the batter is Max Muncy. Breaking ball is in for a strike.
For Muncy, he is recently off the 10-day IL, had a strained oblique. He hit a 2-run home run last night off Tommy Nance, and he is their top home run hitter with his 15. Great on-base percentage of .414. That's number 2 in the game to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Oh, there's a good pitch. 66.
Yep, there's the slow curveball. It's one of the unique pitches that he has, and you can see one of the best hitters in the game at not swinging outside the strike zone. That wasn't outside the strike zone, but he messed up his timing pretty bad there, and now is facing an 0-2 count.
Muncy at least trying to advance a runner. Plan to pull on the infield, and Mills deals inside.
See, when you throw a 66-mile-an-hour curveball, 90 looks like 95. And that's what he's trying to do against this disciplined team, the Dodgers. They like to slug. They like to swing in the strike zone and not expand. He's going to need that curveball today to really mess the timing of the hitters.
1-2 to Muncy is skied in the air to center. Marisnick back at the wall. It's off the wall. Betts will come around to score. Back-to-back doubles to start the night, and the Dodgers on top here in the first.
Well, this one didn't have the bite the first two did, and it looked like Muncy was sitting on it. You might go back and win as a pitcher. You go, oh, maybe I should have thrown a fastball right there. That one hung over the middle of the plate. He was able to get it in the air, if nothing else. You see Betts making sure he could tag, but he knew he could score if he didn't catch the ball. And that ball had tremendous carry and a last-ditch effort by Marisnick.
That was odd. So it's double, then a double. Here's Turner, and there's a strike. It was almost like, and it's easy for us to say, Marisnick got back there, but then expected the ball to carry a little bit further than it did, and he took his eye off the ball, and it hit right over his head off the wall.
Yeah, the initial read was he was in standing position more, that ball carried more than he thought.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. That gets away from Contreras. Over to third goes Muncy. And that'll be a wild pitch that gets away from Contreras, who tried to backhand it.
You just get a sense, after the no-hitter, the Cubs threw against the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been waiting to erupt. They got shut down by the Padres. They've had a hard time against team with winning records so far. They haven't been healthy. You can just see that eventually this team's going to unleash on somebody. And David Ross is hoping it's not today.
And they're doing it and hoping to do it without Corey Seager, who probably won't come back before the All-Star break, out with his fractured hand. That's down. 2 balls and a strike on Turner. Runner at third, nobody out. But Seager was just all-world last postseason, last World Series. And a big reason why the Dodgers won their first World Series since '88. 2-1 pitch. And Cody Bellinger is back. He's off in this game as Dave Roberts is trying to get him some sprinkled in rest here before the All-Star break. He's had a fracture in his leg and then a left hamstring injury, so he's been on the IL twice. He's only played 19 games, and Seager's played 37, but he's been out since the middle of May. 2-2 pitch is grounded right side, a thing of beauty. Base hit. In to score is Muncy, and it's 2-0 Dodgers here in the first. RBI number 40 for Turner.
The only struggle Turner has is over 95 miles an hour. That's where most of the strikeouts come in. But he's such a professional hitter that he knows the fastball's not going to hit by him. So what do? He tried to go inside, and all he does is inside out it to a vacant second base. That's a professional at bat. I mean, we talk a lot about the power and the talent in the league, and it's evident. But that right there is an at bat that wins you games and championships, and that's why they re-signed Turner, amongst other reasons, to be the backbone of that lineup.
Yeah, he's been a 300 hitter since they got him. He's been a leader. He's been great on the field. He's been important in the community off the field. And he has been exactly that. He's been the backbone of this team that just keeps winning and winning and winning and finally get over the hump. They really have made the most out of Justin Turner, and Justin's made the most out of his chance that he forced the Dodgers to give him. Here is Will Smith, who takes a strike.
Will Smith's putting up some impressive numbers when you talk about catchers that have caught for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Of course, Mike Piazza will always be near the top of all those categories, but this young man has shown a lot of power early in his career.
And That is down and away, a ball and a strike. He's basically played a full season, 154 career games for Will Smith. 32 home runs, 94 RBIs, and an OPS of 896, which is number 2 among Dodger catchers to the Hall of Famer Mike Piazza. One ball, one strike, one on, nobody out, 2 runs home. Ooh, a high strike, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, he's been trying. The theme is get the ball inside on the fastball to right-handed hitters,
and then he can throw that curveball. Will Smith struggles with curveballs and sinkers.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. It is just upstairs, 2-2.
Might have caught the top of the strike zone. That's what Alec was hoping for in that big breaking ball, but didn't get the call. Looking for that first out. You know, starting pitchers, you start thinking about what, oh, I got to get the first out. It's a little early, but
2-2 pitch is grounded, might be 2. Baez flips out of the glove and on to first, double play, 2 down. The Fox Bet Super 6 app is giving you a chance to win Big Papi's money during tonight's Cubs-Dodgers game. Enter anytime before the start of the 7th inning and answer 6 questions about the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for a chance to win $1,000. Scan the QR code now to download the Fox Bet Super 6 app and enter for free. With 2 out, nobody on, here's Gavin Lux. Got off to a slow start. He is settled back in and takes a pitch down and in, ball 1. Ball just out of the reach of Chris Bryant in left for a double for Betts. A ball just out of the reach of Marisnick in center for an RBI double. A ball hit by Muncy, and then Turner a base hit through an empty right side for the first 2 runs of this 3rd game of a 4-game set. 1-1 pitch in the dirt. For the Cubs, game 3 of a 10-game road trip. Came to LA after splitting a quick 2-game set with Cleveland. Two-one pitch is grounded right side, right into the teeth of the defense. Out at first is Lux. For the Dodgers on the board, pair of doubles to start the night. RBIs for Muncy and Turner, 2-zip. LA.
By the all-new Bronco Sport, built wild, and by Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. We go into the 2nd inning. Cubs went in order in the 1st. Back to work is Urias, and Javier Baez takes a strike over the outside corner.
Not many takes in his resume so far. Loves the swing.
Baez grounds one up the middle, pass to Urias, and waiting for it is Lux. High throw, but out as Muncy got his foot back on the bag. 1 away, and a good play by McKinstry up the middle as he went to his right and made that play. And that's 1 away here in the 2nd.
Well, for years that used to be a base hit, not anymore. You can see a little awkward scenario for Baez as he kind of slowed down at the bag and then tried to figure out how to. Might have had a little kink in the back or something as he was running that way.
Well, that's the last thing the Cubs or Baez needs. He's had a couple of injuries he's had to deal with so far this season. Slowed some of his production as the first pitch is upstairs to Patrick Wisdom, the 29-year-old rookie who's been a sensation. 10 home runs already hitting .280, 14 RBIs, and he's played a great third base. Good breaking ball by Urias, and the count 1-1.
Yeah, kind of an amazing journey in the last 3 years where he's been released, didn't work out with the Cardinals. And now he finds himself in the thick of things with the Cubs and really helping their offense kind of get going since he's been in there.
1-1 pitch is on the outside corner. I don't know that Wisdom agreed, and the count 1-2. 29 games played, 10 home runs. Averaging a home run every 7.5 at bats. One-two pitch is on the outside corner, and Wisdom can't believe it.
Wow. That is like, if you're catching, you're taking note of that, and you just stole 2 pitches on the outside part of the plate. So if you're going to get Urias a lot of strikeouts, it looks like that side of the plate is going to yield a little bit more of a friendlier zone, because that ball was outside. Yeah.
So 2 down now, 3 strikeouts for Urias. Wisdom still shaking his head, and hard to blame him. Marisnick hits it a ton but hooks it foul. Jake dealt with a pulled hamstring. It seems like every roster's got about 6 pulled hamstrings on it.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but something in the training. These guys are big, they're strong, they want to hit it a mile, they want to run, through a brick wall, and the injuries to some of these guys are you scratch your head a little bit and you just wonder how many of them are flukish and how many of them are an overtraining type injury.
Now Urias surprised not to get the call on that one near the outside corner on Marisnick. That's in for strike 2.
Some would say that the lack of running, I understand when you're playing every day it's a little more difficult, but even the lack of running with pitchers, they just don't seem to run that much. They use treadmill and different methods.
That is Urias come back. It's hard to blame him, because that it looked like a better pitch than the one that got Wisdom, but it's called outside. Let's see. Maybe down, maybe outside a little bit more than the one that got Wisdom. Count 2-2. And it's still 2-2.
Can I just say that I would have a hard time. I'm refraining from the last name of Patrick Wisdom and using. I'm being good. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could use that name in a lot of ways.
Oh, it's right up your alley. You could spend hours in a bullpen or a dugout just annoying people with putting the word wisdom around everything. It's a Chris Berman dream as well. Pitch is up and away, full count. Marisnick trying to become the first Cubs base runner of the ballgame and get on in front of Jason Hayward, who will have his hands full tonight against Urias. The former Astro strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Urias already. Dave Roberts said he'll be more aggressive tonight. Looks like he was right. 2-0 LA. Two 2-0 Dodgers as they bat in the second. Chris Taylor rips one into left field. He sends Bryant back to his right. He's got the 3rd double of the game for the Dodgers. And he's on to start the second as he hops on the first pitch.
Taylor's had a great start to the season. A lot of people feel like the early MVP of the Dodgers. Played a lot of positions, stayed healthy. He's really taken the load off of some of the injuries that the Dodgers have had by his ability to play all over the place.
He's made starts at 6 different positions. Center field, which is where he's starting tonight, is the spot where he started the most, but the numbers are good, especially deep in ball games. He's had a lot of late hits for the Dodgers as they sit 45-31, 4.5 out in the West. Here's A.J. Pollock. He homered last night. His 2-run shot in the 8th inning put the Dodgers on top for good. Strike 1 from Mills.
Well, a 2-0 game, you don't have to necessarily play it this way, but this is a good at bat for Mills if he wants to get the runner to stay at second. Meaning Pollock pulls a lot of his balls in play to the left side. Rarely, about 20% of the time, he goes the other way to advance the runner and possibly get a hit.
Inside, a ball and a strike. Four to nothing win for the Cubs on Thursday, and that combined no-hitter. 7th no-hitter of the season, most ever before the month of July has rolled around. And the Dodgers won last night, 6-2 final. 1-1 pitch here is ripped foul, strike 2.
And that's the pitch he can get the ground ball on if he gets it down a little bit more. He's pulled about 85% of those pitches. When you're out on the mound and you're facing the National League and you know the pitcher's coming up, you can wiggle your way out of a man on second, nobody out, which I'm sure that's what he's trying to do. Already down 2-0, keep your offense in the game.
One-two pitch is inside. 2-2. It's been too long. We've gone too long without getting Kenny Rosenthal involved. Taylor with that leadoff double, and Kenny, he's really played his way into becoming a vital part of what the Dodgers have done here over the last handful of years.
Joe, he's been so important to what they do, and we talk about Kershaw and Jansen and Seager as their big free agents. Well, Chris Taylor is a pretty important free agent as well, and he could do pretty decently in the market if you think of him kind of as a Ben Zobrist type. Remember, Zobrist got that big 4-year deal with the Cubs several years back. Maybe not the defender that Kike Hernandez was, but Chris Taylor is going to be a very interesting guy, whether the Dodgers re-sign him or another club finds out what the Dodgers had.
2-2 pitch here is swung on and missed, and a strikeout from Mills. His first of the game comes at a good time. One away.
Yeah, he threw a changeup there after a couple breaking balls. He established fastball in, and then he went to the breaking ball and didn't get it where he wanted to on the 2-strike pitch, so he went with the changeup and a much needed strikeout now facing the 8 and 9 hitters here for the Dodgers.
I mean, just to follow up on what Kenny was talking about with regard to Chris Taylor, and Kike Hernandez got a 2-year $14 million deal from the Red Sox. That versatility allows you to maybe carry an extra pitcher because, as we said, he can play anywhere. Runner is going. Taylor, throw down is in time, caught stealing 2 out. Wisdom applied the tag. Taylor came off the bag, and there was a little hesitation there to make sure that the tag was applied. The Dodgers are looking at it and making sure they don't want to challenge.
Yeah, it was a fairly quick move to home plate by Alec Mills, and you can see why Taylor was trying to get to third with the 8th hitter up, of course, with the pitcher on deck. So he just didn't get a big enough lead, and maybe he did not time him because he was out pretty easily.
Good call by DJ Rayburn, the third base umpire. Clearly out. 2 out for McKinstry, who grounds it right side. Backhanded play, and out at first as Alcantara makes that play. So a leadoff double, man out stealing. Mills faces just 3 in the second. 2-0 Dodgers. Third inning coming up in LA. Google MLB All-Star Starters reveal on ESPN, and don't miss the T-Mobile Home Run Derby July 12th, also on ESPN. So leading up to the 2021 MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 13th, only on Fox. We look at the National League balloting leaders, and you see third base Chris Bryant. Ken Rosenthal, he hasn't played much third base, more outfield so far this season.
Well, we were just talking about Chris Taylor's versatility. Well, how about Bryant? He went from April 30th to June 11th without starting a game at third. The Cubs president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, remembers back in 2016. Of course, Bryant played several positions that season, but back then, as a second-year player on a veteran club, he wasn't going to create a stir. Now he could raise an objection as a potential free agent. But one of the great things about Bryant is that he is willing to move all over the field. And remember, guys, if he was only playing third, the Cubs occasionally would be short in the outfield, and Matt Duffy and Patrick Wisdom would not have gotten a chance.
Yeah, he is exactly what you want, and somebody who, as he launches into this free agency and wherever that lands him, either back with the Cubs or elsewhere, you don't have to worry about him. He's going to keep grinding, keep working. There's a strike, and it's 1-2 on Jason Hayward as he starts this third inning. Bryant is a special guy.
It's amazing he can do all that, stay focused and locked in as a superstar when he called up as a third baseman.
Ground ball right side. That is going to be a base hit. Hayward hitting 188 is on and becomes the first Cubs base runner of the ball game. And even had that play been made cleanly by McKinstry, there was no chance to get Hayward at first.
Yeah, and a rare base hit on a curveball against a lefty. Really struggling against curveballs. That one hung over the middle of the plate, and because his speed, there was no chance of getting him. And now you see the curveball just hangs a little bit, even though it's on the outer part of the plate. Didn't have the tight downward break to fool Hayward, who had really struggled, as I said, coming in against left-handed breaking balls.
Alcantara is the hitter, the number 8 man, with Mills next, and that's high for ball 1. We'll make sure Kenny is using sunscreen down there because he is baking in the sun just off the Dodgers dugout.
It's legal for him, though, right?
It is. You could, that's what I was going to say. Is it sunscreen to protect from the sun? Is it sunscreen, Kenny, to get a better grip on that microphone?
It's performance enhancing, Joe.
No sticky substance in the way of sunscreen for Kenny. He has a sunscreen person who comes every game, handles that, sends Kenny on his way. Here's a 2-0 pitch. It's
down 3-0, and Urias facing the number 8 hitter with a pitcher coming up.
You know, one thing about pitching, and this young man is certainly going to do a lot of it in his career for the Dodgers and wherever else as long as he pitches, but you start getting conscious of things you don't want to be conscious of. In other words, the last couple starts, a lot of 2-strike hits.
How about a 4-pitch walk?
And then you start focusing on things you wouldn't focus because they bring them to your attention. And you just have to find a way to settle each pitch and not be conditioned to go back into that, oh, I've given up 8 home runs on 2 strikes, or I've given up a high percentage with 2. You will learn to get through this little funk he's in. And when you get through it, it serves you better for the rest of your career. This guy's been bounced around. He hasn't had a chance really to have this many pitching opportunities on a consistent basis. And so it's natural for him to go through a little lull.
You saw those numbers already. The most innings pitched in any season in the young MLB career for Urias, who was pitching in the big leagues at 19 years old. Here's Mills showing bunt early. Now he takes high for ball 1. Reason being is Urias has undergone shoulder surgery, missed the second half of 2017, most of 2018. And they're trying to make sure they tread lightly with the workload for Urias. That's 6 in a row, and really none of them have been close from the lefty, so he's going to get a visit from his catcher, Will Smith.
Yeah, it's a good visit just to reset the brain here because, you know, 4-pitch walks kind of shakes your system going, where'd that come from? Now the pitcher's up, you know he's bunting, and you sometimes find yourself aiming to throw a strike so that he can bunt it and you can get the out. Well, you still have to be aggressive in the zone, and I'm sure Will Smith just reminding him of the situation you got here. Let's just get the out, we'll deal with the next guy when he comes up.
Mills, by the way, 0 for 8 swinging the bat. Here's a 2-0 pitch. It is a strike, and it looked like Mills was just going to take whatever came his way and see if Urias could throw a strike, and he did. 2-1.
I remember foaming at the mouth, getting in this situation, praying they would take off the bunt and let me hit with 2-0 because that's the best pitch you're going to get in the entire at bat.
Here's a bunt. It hits him while he's in the box. It's a foul ball. The count 2-2. Urias also had a suspension related to a domestic violence situation. So his career has kind of been starting, stopping. And it wasn't until last October on the biggest stage baseball has where we saw just how dynamic his pitching stuff can be. He was as important a piece as any piece the Dodgers had. That is in for a strike. And down is Mills for the 5th strikeout for Urias in the ball game, and a big first out in the inning as he does not advance the runners.
Yeah, it sure was. And to further that conversation, Joe, the only thing that you could be a little bit concerned about if you were Dodgers after last year's World Series championship is how would the pitchers rebound this year? They lost Dustin May, unfortunately. Gonsolin went into some shoulder issues, and you mentioned about now the career most innings for Urias, and getting stability back in the rotation will be key for this team to repeat. Because it was such a short season last year, but they used their pitchers in such an unorthodox way to win the World Series, you just hope that it probably led to the signing, by the way, of Bauer, knowing some of those things may be in play this year.
That's Trevor Bauer right there. 2 on, 1 out, and back to the top of the order in Wilson Contreras, ball 1. I remember, when they added Bauer, it was like, well, where are they going to put him? I mean, they have way too many starters, and now after losing Dustin May, they've really kind of gone along with 4 starters, hoping for better things from Gonsolin, but they're a little thin in their rotation. 1-0 pitch is a big swing and a miss by Contreras. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Great changeup, great arm action. Hitter sitting on a pitch, looks like it's the pitch he's going to get, and then it just fades out of the zone. You can tell he was on what he thought was going to be a fastball, and a good choice of pitches there for the young lefty.
A hit and a walk started the inning. A strikeout of Mills. Big spot here for Contreras for the Cubs. Way high, ball 2. And even with the injury to May, and even with trying to get Gonsolin back and stretched out and the shoulder feeling right,
here's where they sit with their starters. It's been a good start for the group statistically. 2-1 pitch is in for a strike. 2-2.
Let's see, with 2 strikes, if he goes to the curveball, Contreras has a little bit of Achilles heel with the curveball off of lefties. You got your action pitch, meaning 2-2. You want your action to be right here, your best pitch. You don't want to go to 3-2.
Contreras is driven in 30, hitting .235, and he strikes out on a pitch up around his neck. 2 out.
Aggressive hitter. He went with a fastball up above the zone and couldn't lay off of it. So first and second, nobody out. Now it's first and second, 2 outs, and Chris Bryant. So the trouble's not over for Urias, and Cubs are relying on a big 2-out hit to get back in this game.
And they're asking Chris Bryant for it. 2 home runs over his last 3 games. Had a 48 at-bat streak with no extra base hits that was snapped this past week at Wrigley against Cleveland, and
he pops it up shallow center, long run, and there for the catch and the out, Chris Taylor. And Urias gets around the hit and the walk. Bottom of the 3rd inning, rolls in. Dodgers bat up 2. Julio Urias shortens up, takes a strike, and we're underway in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-0 Dodgers on the strength of 1st inning runs. RBIs by Muncy and Turner. Mills got around a leadoff double last inning, and here's the 0-1 to Urias. Hooked foul. Strike 2. No stranger to a headset or a microphone is David Ross, manager of the Chicago Cubs. Hi, David.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're doing good. That last missed chance has to sting a little bit.
Yeah, we hadn't done a good job of getting the bunch down lately. We've got to do a better job of that. We've been working on it, but tough angle there, 2-0, him to come all the way back, but as part of this game, the little details matter, and we'll get some more opportunities.
I liked how you described yourself this past week as kind of leaning more toward a small ball type manager, which as Urias strikes out looking for out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. I don't want to do the get off my lawn act, but a lot of that stuff has kind of gone by the boards really across baseball. It'd be nice to get more contact, get guys on, and be able to get them in without slugging home runs.
Yeah, I think the good teams I've been on, you got to be well-rounded. We hit some home runs. We're able to hit home runs. That's a given. I think we can do that. But the times when we put balls in play, move the baseball, move the runners over, give guys a chance to succeed. It's nice to come back to the dugout with just a sac fly, getting it out, a ground ball up the middle that gets a run in from third. That's a positive that you can feed off of and kind of takes you into a nice mindset as you carry throughout your season.
Vetter's here tonight. Do you feel any extra pressure to win?
No, he texted me before the game. We talked. I knew he was going to be here. We talked. He's but you always got to try to impress Eddie when you're here. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. Thanks, David.
Good to talk to you guys.
All right. 1 out. Back to the top of the order, and the count 2-0 on Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts so good at not swinging and missing in the zone, but not expanding the zone. This year, a little bit higher than normal, expanding the zone.
That's right into the defense. Picked up, thrown to first and out as Alcantara made that play. And we've seen a couple of hits already in this game taken away by well-positioned infielders up the middle. 2 out here in the 3rd.
Yeah, combined by pitcher throwing it where he wants to get the hitter to hit it there, right? That's the purpose. The shift, the true shift, has covered a lot of bad location pitching. Meaning, when the shift came in, we had high velocity, but the location was not great, but the shift helped cover that up. But when you're a pitcher like Alec Mills or Hendricks or even Zach Davies, you better be pretty precise because your velocity is not one that's going to lean them to hit it in one direction. You got to actually throw the pitch you want to get him there in the right location.
1 ball, no strikes on Muncy. That's on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Muncy with an RBI double over the head of Marisnick in center. Moved to third on a wild pitch and scored on a base hit by Turner back in the 1st. He just continues, Muncy, to be a great story. Somebody that was cut loose by Oakland and went and just remade his swing. Got into the Dodger organization, and man, he's just been a solid presence in this lineup. He gets on base. He's a selective hitter. He's really good defensively. Made himself good at first base. He's made some just dazzling plays at second base this year. What a story he really has become.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his discipline. Just the discipline of the strike zone and the discipline of his new swing and approach. Like that. Most guys would have swung and missed. He's the guy at the red light, not eking his car, getting ready for the green light like I am. He's waiting at the 4-way stop. He must be doing all the discipline things you have to do that most of us want to get out in front and go. He's not.
And he takes a walk. That's why his on-base percentage is the best in the NL.
And you know what else? When you get that reputation, all those close pitches like that seem to go to his way because he has such a disciplined approach. That was a great pitch on 3-2. One that could have been called for strike 3. That was perfect.
Wow. Well, that was a good pitch. But a good take and a walk. I also have it on good authority that Max Muncy drives with his hands at 10-2.
See, there you go. I'm thinking of all the things that I possibly would do different than him.
Does not run with scissors. Has never had a sip of expired milk. There's ball 1 to Justin Turner.
When it says don't walk, he doesn't. He waits for the, even if there's no cars coming.
No.
That's what you got to do to have that.
Never been arrested for jaywalking. Never happened. It doesn't steal. Oh, he's stolen once. But that's a bag. Left side, base hit. Turner 2 for 2. 2 on, 2 out.
Well, Alec missed his spot there by a good 1.5 feet. They were really trying to tie up Turner up and in, and he threw a ball that ended up being almost down the middle. Right down the middle. Of course, Turner knows what to do with that. High leg kick, smooth swing. Flat out hit.
Have you ever gone swimming inside of 30 minutes after eating something?
Eventually, I've found that
it's not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Well, when you're a kid, it sure is.
It sure is. You got to wait a half an hour. At least I did. Will Smith now bounced into a double play his first time. 2 on, 2 out. Maybe we're just giddy because this is the 40th anniversary of the release of a little movie that I've seen 1,403 times named Stripes.
Oh, yeah.
40 years ago today. June 26, 1981. 2 on, 2 out. 2-0. John Winger, of course, is a big Cub fan, also known as Bill Murray, who is these days a lean, mean fighting machine. Here's a visit from how to be the pitching coach, which will allow us to talk about the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched that last weekend, a dog show that I was locked into. Basically the running through all the obstacles.
Yeah, the highlights are coming up. You can rewatch.
Nice.
Only the scary parts and the high action parts have been left in the highlights.
Well, one I watched, a couple trainers almost took a header trying to get their dog to do the right thing. Gotta be in shape there too.
Yes, you do. Or at least be able to jog in a nice tight circle. 2-0 the count. Back to the dugout is the pitching coach, and Smith is licking his chops. Right down the chute. Maybe this will make you feel old if you didn't feel old already. Derek Jeter is celebrating. What birthday, John, do you think he's celebrating today?
Oh, wow. He's a little bit younger than me. Is it 50?
No, 47. Way to ruin the whole setup. Here's a 2-1 pitch. It's down 3-1. Rookie of the year in 96.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they went on that year to win the World Series.
Pretty sure. It was a good year in 96 for the Michiganders. Pat Hetkin won the American League Cy Young. I got lucky enough to win the National League Cy Young.
Pure luck.
And he won the Rookie of the Year. So it's kind of like a trio of Michiganders.
3 balls and a strike. Mills brings it. Just crunched. Hit that ball so far foul it was almost behind him.
Well, this would be an interesting 3-2 pitch here. I think you got to go breaking ball. If you trust your breaking ball and you can make that kind of pitch after a fastball that was pulled that far inside. Let's see if Alec has the feel of that pitch. 3-2 with the runners going. Call it the old action pitch. 3-2, 2 outs.
There they go, and ball 4. This is a very patient Dodger lineup. They'll take their walks. 2 in the inning. The bases are loaded for Gavin Lux. Play Ball is baseball and softball's initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play the game for all. Find a league near you. Go to playball.org and follow at Playball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Lux bounced out his first time. When the Dodgers get Corey Seager back, not only do they get his big presence defensively, offensively, it also lets the Dodgers push Lux a little further down in the lineup. Lengthens that lineup. Opportunity here. Strike 1. Muncy, Turner, and Smith, the runners, with 2 out in the 0-1. Down for ball 1.
You know, the manager's confidence can go a long way as you look at Seager coming back from his injury, working his way back, saw all the exercises he was doing, running and getting his legs ready. But the confidence a manager has given Gavin Lux, I know production-wise hasn't been perfect, but Dave Roberts said that, you know what, you're going to keep getting reps. Just go out there and kind of relax. You know, the last thing you want to do is chase results because you want to earn that spot. But Dave Roberts is giving this young man some confidence, even if his numbers aren't right.
1-1 pitch is down and in, 2-1. Kenny?
Roberts about that conversation and Gavin Lux, and it took place at the beginning of May after Lux had that horrible April, and Lux said he felt a weight lift from his shoulders.
Little vote of confidence, more room to find his way, and the numbers have been getting better. Big chance here, bases loaded, 2-1 pitch is hit in the air to center. Marisnick is right there. And Alec Mills walks 2, allows a hit, but strands 3. And we go to inning number 4. Weather ideal out here. Dodgers on top, 2-zip.
Beyond the sea,
Manager Dave Roberts told our little production crew that he was anxious to watch Julio Urias pitch tonight because he knew he was going to be more aggressive. You have to be thrilled with what you're seeing out of your young left-hander.
I am, and I think that we talked about that, and it's aggressive with you know, the changeup, the fastball, the slider right there, and right there, you got him with the fastball.
That is gone. Tape measure shot by Rizzo, and the lead is cut in half. He came right after Rizzo. And a little lean back and launch by Anthony Rizzo. It's 2-1 Dodgers here in the 4th.
Yeah, you know, a great hitter like Anthony, you know, if he gets something out over, he's gonna hit it pretty hard. And we got him first at bat with some change-ups and try to get ahead in the count, and he was ready for that first pitch fastball.
Yeah, I think he was maybe looking for that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you got him on the change, the left-on-left change, and probably a guy like that doesn't want to get deep into a count and wants to get ahead and get out there, and that's what he just did.
I'm sure you are tired of talking about injuries. It's not just your team, it's across Major League Baseball, but it seems like you're inching your way back, and it's got to be good for you to see Corey Seager doing the work he did before today's game.
We are. We got Max back this last series. We got Cody back this last series. We're getting Corey back soon. So, yeah, to get back to full strength certainly makes everybody around us better. And you try not to complain about it because it's happening to everybody. It's part of baseball. And our guys doing a good job of continuing to look forward to that each day and win a ball game.
Dave, thanks for the time, and sorry that you just gave up a home run when you started talking.
Yeah, I hear you. That was on me.
It's our fault.
That's on me.
It's our fault. But blame Fox.
I'm going to blame you guys.
Okay, all right, fine.
Bye,
Everybody
guys.
else does.
Bye,
Right,
guys.
Baez waits for an 0-2 pitch. And goes down on a knee and fouls it away. Still 0-2.
Baez loves to swing, as we talked about. It's going to be an interesting case this year. He's made a nice little bounce back so far, but a lot of swing and miss in his game. And of course, that free agent to be shortstop with a class of shortstops that are pretty impressive. And be interesting to see how the last impression he has on clubs when he finishes this year.
He strikes out on a good pitch down and away. Strikeout number 7 for Urias. Back to the home run by Rizzo.
Well, I told you what he does when he stands on the plate. He takes a pitch that's
outer third and up, and it makes it look like it's middle to Anthony Rizzo. And I'm telling you, the Cubs are in a position they're in right now without some of their guys locked in. And if Anthony Rizzo can get going, he's had a great year against lefties. It's the right-handers that has been a little bit down, and you know that's a good feeling for a guy who has been the face of the organization for a long time.
Patrick Wisdom now takes low for ball 1. Wisdom struck out on a couple of pitches, I guess close to the outside corner, his first time up.
I guarantee he went in and looked. He looked in the video.
Out in front of that, fouls it back and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he came away probably vindicated that he did not strike out, but the pitches were called that were a little bit off the plate. I like stories like this. I hope guys that, maybe didn't have the prolific start to their career, or their journey has taken them places where maybe it just doesn't look like it's going to work out, and then he land himself here with the Cubs.
There's strike 2.
And like you said, 10 home runs, major contributor already. Changed the course of his future, maybe.
No doubt. 2 little girls, proud dad, and really a good player. And he's shocked them with how good he's been at third base. He takes one right down the chute for strikeout number 8 for Urias, 2 out. Today's telecast sponsored by Jersey Mike's Subs. Be a sub above. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Home run allowed by Urias to Rizzo, the 14th he's given up. Marisnick, strike 1. Last 2 years when Marisnick has had a chance to start, he's hit over 300, but for the most part, regular season, postseason, it's been kind of that defensive late inning replacement.
Yeah, big athletic guy who can play the outfield, obviously, and primarily against left-handed hitters. His damage is going to be all in the strike zone. Not many hits outside the strike zone, so he's looking for a kind of a coffee can area to hit.
Strike 2. Urias could strike out the side after allowing that home run on the first pitch to Rizzo to start the inning. And he does. 9 strikeouts through 4 innings for Urias, but Anthony Rizzo was ready. Launched to cut the lead in half. Bottom of the 4th inning in LA. Coming up. And second hit for the Cubs, and it left the park. Leading off the top of the 4th, and now in the bottom of the 4th, it's Taylor, Pollock, and McKinstry. That's into left and down for a base hit. Taylor doubled his first time and now hops on the first pitch here and singles to start the 4th. Let's take a look at where the Dodgers have been on the 26th of June. They've won their division 8 straight times. So back in 2013 at this point, they were in last place, then second place, first place, second place, first place, second place, first place. Last year, that shortened season, they had
I guess it doesn't really count because it wasn't at that point in the calendar, but they won the division easily, and now here they are 4.5 games out. Giants and the Padres are both playing tonight. As Pollock waits for the first from Mills. Fly ball into right. Hayward looks like he's got room, and he does. 1 out. Can you imagine, John, a team winning a division 8 straight times?
I really can't. It's impressive, though. I mean,
it is. It's just over halfway to what you guys did in Atlanta.
Yeah. 14 to be exact.
14.
Well, I know a lot of people talk about, I'm not a big believer in World Series hangover. I really aren't. I think it's an easy statement to make. But there are some components of that do draw into the next season, right? First of all, it's very difficult to repeat. We've already seen that hasn't happened in a long time. But what the Dodgers were able to do is put together another roster, even though it's not exactly the same, that gives them a great chance to do that. And I was the first to come out in the beginning of the year, and I thought they had a chance to set the all-time record of run differential. Now, I'm not a huge run differential fan. Like, I don't think it's the ultimate indicator.
Right.
But it is an indicator to tell you how good your team is from preventing runs to scoring runs. And unfortunately for the Dodgers, their offense.
This is through that swung around defense and into right. McKinstry is on Headed to third is Taylor, first and third, one out.
But unfortunately, their offense hasn't been connected and clicking. They beat up some teams that are under 500 that are having a tough year, scoring double digits somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 times.
But then they've run into the good teams and their offense has stalled. So you've got this kind of feast or famine approach. Even though I think they're second in the league in runs, at the end of the year, I still think they're going to have such a gap between their runs and what they give up. That's why I think this team has a prime and a really good chance to repeat again.
That would be 9 straight division titles. Albert Pujols added in season after being cut loose by the Angels. Been good against left-handed pitching. Exactly why they got him.
Now here's a scenario. You're going to try to bunt towards the first base. The third base runner is going to read the action on the bunt. But what's unique about this team is Anthony Rizzo's not afraid to get his nose way in on the hitter, meaning he'll charge and get on top, and if the hitter pulls back and swings, well, that's the price he'll pay for charging. If the right-handed batter was up as a right-handed pitcher, it's really difficult to defend first and third, and you bunt. Worst case scenario, second and third, 2 outs. Best case scenario, run scores, you throw the runner out at first, and you got a man on second.
Well, Urias does have 6 hits, and he's got 8 RBIs this season. So he knows how to handle the bat. Bunted foul his first time and now waits for the 0-1. And that's foul, strike 2.
You know, early on in this game, if both pitchers were prize fighters, Alec Mills been on the ropes the whole time. I mean, it has been close to the trainer throwing in the towel. He's done a nice job at keeping it here, whereas Urias really has been in control the entire game with the minus that home run. But you get that sense that the Dodgers should be up by a lot more based on the way the action they've had in this game so far.
Showing bunt early again. Up and away. Throw down. They got him.
Wow.
Taylor picked off, and Contreras celebrates after throwing a rocket down to third. 2 out.
Wow, wow, wow. That's what's going to drive managers crazy when you have people on the ropes and you just kind of lean out too far. And what a great throw by Contreras. And my, the Cubs making the play so far.
1-2 pitch is grounded to first, off the glove of Rizzo, a base hit. Headed for third is McKinstry. Hit number 7 on the year for Urias, who looks frustrated after being asked to bunt. And it's first and third again. No damage done and 2 out.
He is frustrated because he knows that he helped contribute to that play because the third base runner had to read his swings. Now, don't get carried away thinking this would have happened had he not been picked off at third. You change your pitch selections. Everything changes. But the fact is, the Dodgers have had total control of this game but are only up by 1 run. And you got to credit Alec Mills and the Cubs for kind of sticking their nose in there and still hanging in to this point.
Now the RBI chance for Mookie Betts. By the way, was that maybe a set play with a count of 0-2 on Urias with that pitch riding up and out if they were peaking at the kind of lead that Chris Taylor was getting?
Sure. You definitely want to throw a higher pitch anyways because your chances of bunting that ball up in the air go greater. And absolutely could have been a called play.
See if Betts can do something. He takes low, ball 1. Or, as you said, Mills, who's had a double play turn behind him. Chris Taylor's been lost on the bases twice, and the Dodgers have stranded 2. Can get off the ropes and go into the dugout. Think about the 5th inning. Slow breaking ball for a strike.
So when you watch this play, of course, that was an outside heater with no chance, right? So that allowed Contreras to let go almost like a pitch out that you were talking about, Joe, and a play that they put on. Because what Taylor has to do is he has to creep down towards home plate and read the bat and the ball. And unfortunately, Contreras read it better.
That is a ball. 2-1.
One of the things I saw the Dodgers, which is rare when you are at this point in the season, but the Dodgers were working on pitchers' plays early on. They were working on some fundamentals. So unfortunately, they were on the opposite side of the fundamentals hurting them.
2-1 here. Betts grounds it right at Wisdom, who's got a good arm and fires a strike. Good job by Mills. Into and out of trouble yet again. 5th inning rolls in. 2-1. Dodgers on top.
The score in round 3 between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight championship of the world. July 24th, live on pay-per-view. Buy it on the Fox Sports app. MLB The Show 21 is available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and with Xbox Game Pass. Own your rivals, own the show. Rated E for everyone.
Julio Urias is rated G for good here tonight. 4 innings, 9 strikeouts, 2 hits. But the hit by Rizzo leading off last inning left the park. It's a 2-1 game.
Yeah, right part of the order to get kind of back in the game, because it's a dangerous spot for Urias. You send 9 strikeouts, dominating on the mound, but only 2-1 lead. And this is where you get lost a little bit. You can't make any more mistakes until your offense starts breaking through and giving you a bigger lead.
Hayward took a breaking ball and got a base hit to the right side his first time up. Takes a breaking ball here for a strike and a perfect pitch from Urias.
Now, you know, we were talking about just the Cubs and some of the decisions. Being a GM is not easy with all the information and technology you have. But being a GM of the Chicago Cubs this year was going to come with very challenging task. And that challenging task was going to be exactly what they are doing now. And how do you assess that team moving forward with the thought that you have guys you probably aren't going to re-sign? Do you re-sign one? Are you good enough to add? And I think after the All-Star break is going to come down to that gut check time.
That's a base hit down the left field line, and Hayward will have at least 2. He's watching the play in front of him, and Jason Hayward with a start against the lefty Urias is 2 for 2.
And David Ross said he was starting to come around and get rewarded for some of the contact as he was struggling most of the year, and so a big hit there. But to finish that thought, as we see that swing and nobody at third base, you can be in first place and maybe have an assessment that you're still not good enough to make a deep run. And then what do you do if you go through the end of the season and you don't make that run and you don't have the opportunity to sign those guys? You're left with, you know, a big hole. So a big year for the Cubs, and right now I think they've done a great job just to be in the position they're in, a game out of first place.
Yeah. And as you said, David Ross gets a lot of credit for that. The bullpen gets a lot of credit for that. And Jed Hoyer, who put this team together, president. And he's the guy who's made, you know, he traded Yu Darvish. So that piece already got moved. Added Jock Peterson. The way Jock Peterson has played, he could help any team in 2021. And the Cubs are thrilled they signed him on a 1-year, $7 million deal. As Alcantara is coming up empty with that swing, 1 ball, 1 strike, and then the decisions to follow. You don't want to get tricked into thinking
exactly right.
We're better than we are, but who knows? I mean, the division is not that strong.
That's right.
And you get into the postseason tournament and take your chances. Strike 2 on Alcantara.
I think the most amazing and maybe most surprising part of their club is their bullpen. I don't think anybody envisioned they would kind of find the pieces that they found to be a strength, where maybe that was a question mark going in. And I know they used a lot of their important pieces the last 2 nights and may not be available for this particular game, but it's been their strength.
Brad Wick is getting loose, and that's a strikeout number 10. 1 on, 1 out. Chris Myers standing by with a game break. Chris, thanks. Well, a couple of things just happened here. We know that Alec Mills, who dodged trouble really all night long, and to his credit, kept the Dodgers at 2 runs. His night's finished as Ian Happ will come off the bench and bat for him with a tying run at second and 1 out. And Urias gets a visit from Mark Pryor. So there are the numbers. 7-2 record. There's the ERA that Chris talked about. The strikeouts to walks. He allowed two earned runs in 6. And that snapped a streak of 12 starts with 1 or 0 earned runs allowed.
That's incredible.
Incredible. Ball 1 up and away. And by the way, he's hitting the cover off the baseball when he's been at the plate with a bat in his hands too.
Yeah, until he had to get a little protection mode. Of course, that right shoulder is the lead arm, so he tweaked it a couple starts ago with that swing. So, man, he's just been the most dominant pitcher that we've seen in a long time, maybe ever, for this stretch.
Hitting .414 right now. Happ swings and misses at a nasty pitch from Urias. 1 ball, 1 strike. Scoreless streak for DeGrom snapped at 31 today against Philadelphia. All-time record holder in that category, the great Orel Hershiser. 59 consecutive scoreless innings in 88.
It's one of those that can be pretty safe.
Here's one into right base hit. Tie game. Hayward, I don't know what he was doing. He was just jogging to third. I don't know if he thought that was foul or not, but
Scores easily. And it's 2-2 as Happ delivers off the bench with an RBI double.
Sid coming into this inning, this was one of those games that felt weird. In total control, and he hits the ball the other way, and now the Cubs are tied when it doesn't even feel like they should be if you're Urias on the mound. But I think Hayward just knew that that was a hit, and there was no chance that they were going to throw him out. It was just a nice little stroll coming into home.
I think at the beginning, and then I don't know if the third base coach Willie Harris said, "Hey, get going," and then he kind of kicked it back into gear. Or if he thought it was foul, I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Scored easily, and it's 2-2. What a job by Happ. Alec Mills is off the hook. Can't get the win, cannot get the loss. Pitch 4 and allowed those 2 first-inning runs.
He pitched 4, but I bet you he felt like it was 8 innings. And it was great work to get in and out of those jams and keep his team. I mean, that's one of those that you appreciate
as a teammate. You know, you didn't have his best stuff. He didn't cave, didn't get a big deficit, and kept the offense in the maneuver into this kind of tie game, and now possibly take the lead.
Here's a chopper left side. Going to be a tough play. Turner, nice work. Gets Contreras. 2 out. Over to third goes Happ with Chris Bryant coming up.
And right here, pitch selection is going to be important. I think Chris Bryant, my mindset, if I was Urias, is he's going to be very aggressive on the first pitch. 2 outs, an opportunity to do damage. Not a big sample size, but hitting 500 off of left-handed pitching in first pitch, only 4 for 8. But even though the guy on deck hit a home run off of me, I'm not letting, if I'm Urias, I'm not letting Bryant get me.
Fires a strike. So Happ delivers, hitting 180 at the start of the day. And his RBI double scored Hayward, who was hitting 188 at the start of the day. He's 2 for 2. He's pulled the base hit, then went the other way for a double to start this 5th. A ball and a strike on Bryant. The next from Urias is chopped foul, strike 2.
Sometimes a pitcher loses confidence or gives up some hits on a pitch, and then he puts it in his back pocket, and really is not the indicator of what you should do when you start realizing what your assets are. And that curveball, I always felt like, is one of the better pitches that he has. He's had a good feel for the changeup today. I haven't seen quite as many curveballs as I thought we'd see against this lineup.
Bryant lays off as Joe Kelly gets loose. Bryant has struck out, flied out. Loves hitting at Dodger Stadium. Says he sees the ball really well in this ballpark. 2-2.
There it is.
And the inning is over, and Bryant is 0 for 3. But Ian Happ makes the most of his chance here in the 5th. 2-2, halfway through it on a Saturday in LA.
The move was made by David Ross. He pinch hit for Alec Mills, and that worked out as Ian Happ delivered the game-tying RBI base hit. Here's Brad Wick. 11 innings pitched, ERA of 0. He's bounced up and down a bit this season, but part of the best bullpen in the big leagues.
Yeah, doesn't have much to show for it. Obviously been pitching well, and fastball, curveball, cutter. And what he's going to try to do is, against the left-handers especially, that curveball is going to be more of a sweeping breaking curveball more than an up and down type breaking ball. And you see the bullpen, again, the biggest surprise and the biggest asset that they have for the Cubs this season.
Max Muncy took a strike, now a ball. Well, 2 of their big 3 in their bullpen have pitched 2 consecutive days. And that's Tepera and Chafin. But the big story in their bullpen is they have the hammer at the back end now with Craig Kimbrell, who's been phenomenal. Ball 2 up and away from Wick. Justin Steele, a rookie left-hander who was 2-0 with an ERA of just over 2 in 11 appearances, strained his right hamstring. He is working his way back, so they'll get another piece here soon. 2-1 pitch is popped foul, back and out of play. Dodgers are at the Nationals next Saturday. Nationals have been hot. And the former Cub, Kyle Schwarber, is swinging the hottest bat in the world.
Yeah, we got a home run chase in the last 8 days that have been insane on how many homers these guys have been hitting.
That is strike 3. Muncy, I don't think, agrees. And 1 out here in the 5th. Good start to the inning for Brad Wick.
Fastball to the upper corner. Just a little bit off, but enough to where Muncy gets called out.
That's the pitch, the high strike, that along with Major League Baseball going to more strict enforcement of the no sticky stuff on the hands of pitchers, others in the game and a lot in the game will say that it's that high strike with this kind of velocity that makes it almost impossible and is limiting the offense that we're seeing in the game.
No doubt. And the philosophy of the guys hitting. They're not deviating, so they're trying to swing with a plane that drives the ball over the wall. So when you do that and couple that with the high velocity and fastball, I've been a big proponent, even though, you know, I'm a former pitcher. I think if you lower the strike zone, you bring in a lot of quality to the hitters having a chance to handle that velocity. The elite pitchers are always going to be elite no matter what the strike zone is. But when you have guys that can throw at the top of the zone at 98, 99, 97, you're asking an awful lot of hitters. That's why the shift numbers have gone up and they haven't gone down, because nobody really has the ability to hit the ball the other way on that pitch. And so I really think I think that's a subtle move that no one will complain that much. They just won't, because if pitchers have that velocity, they're going to feel like they could still get you out even if the strike zone's low.
2-1. We'll hear from Kenny in a moment. 1 out, nobody on. Turner fouls it right side. Kenny, weigh in on that.
I'm with you guys on this, but I want to see what the enforcement means with regard to spin rates, which of course help the four-seam fastballs hold their plane up in the strike zone. If we see the spin rates drop, we see the pitches not as effective up in the strike zone, that alone might make a difference, and then we can talk about maybe lowering it.
2-2 the count. Turner 2 for 2. Full count. I haven't seen anybody. Now we're doing stuff between innings, but nothing has caught my eye tonight where I've seen anybody check.
Yeah, just a couple times noticed once they crossed the white line and were on their way to the dugout.
Which seems like a better way to do it.
Yeah.
A little more subtle. 3-2 pitch now and a strikeout. Good velocity from Wick. Kind of a funky arm angle too. 2 out. Game break time with Will Smith now coming up. Here's Chris.
Will Smith.
Chris, thanks. 2 out, nobody on. The batter is Smith. 0 for 1 with a walk, and he takes a ball.
I mean, not too long ago, we did Cubs Cardinals in St. Louis, and St. Louis had a 3 or 4 game lead. And I mean, it has been a total reversal of fortunes for not only St. Louis, but Milwaukee, Chicago, and even the Reds. So hard to believe that the Cardinals could be in 4th place with where they were at the time, and to see the Cubs resurgent. There's been a lot of stretches and a lot of winning streaks for a couple teams at the right time as the Cubs sit there currently.
You think where the Cardinals were, though, in 1st place. Miles Mikolas started that game.
Yep.
He's on the 60-day IL. And we spoke in game as Smith hits one down toward the end of the bat for Bryant and left. Talked in game to Jack Flaherty, who was unhittable at that point, and then he went on the IL.
That's right.
So that's a part of it. Talking about the NL Central 2-2 game here after 5 in LA. First pitch of the 6th inning is in for a strike at the knees to Anthony Rizzo. Tying his career high is Urias with his 11 strikeouts through just 5 innings. This will be pitch number 82. And he fooled Rizzo for strike 2.
Well, he's got the benefit of those shadows now. There's shadows in the middle of that diamond, making it a little more difficult for the hitters to pick up spin sometimes.
Tied him up, 1 away. Strikeout number 12, a new career high for Urias.
Want more stats? Just ask Siri. Who leads MLB in home runs?
We'll answer this. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the junior circuit, which is kind of a nickname for the American League, but these are all juniors. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr., 22, 22, 23 years old, and these are not just great baseball players. These are just tremendous athletes that are on display every night for the team. And Vlad went deep again today, and he leads away with 26. Here is a rocket through the left side. Baez is on with 1 out here in the 6th. Now 1 for 3.
I think Baez, as he knew he got that hit, turned back to Smith. He might have hit him on the follow-through swing. It was a rocket. He's got that big, long swing. Let's take a look and see. He swings it and gets the hit and then follows through and hits his glove and says, my bad.
Dave Roberts out of the dugout, takes the ball from Urias with Wisdom coming up. 5 1/3 with a career high 12 strikeouts, but they're going to check him on his way out. His flight is boarding in Concourse D. 2-2 game here in the 6th. A dozen strikeouts, but leaves in a 2-2 ball game.
Yeah, I know the frustration of his last 4 or 5 have kind of morphed into each other. He shouldn't be too frustrated about this outing. I know it's tough when you don't leave with the lead or put your team in a better situation, but comparatively to what he was pitching like, this is a much, much better sign for the Dodgers.
Dave Roberts called that before today's game. Joe Kelly comes in. He's got electric stuff. Hits 99 and a strike to Patrick Wisdom. The electric stuff, however, has translated to a 4.5 ERA, but he can light up a radar gun, and when he's on, he is filthy.
Yeah, command sometimes an issue. He's got that electric fastball, two-seamer, and a breaking ball. It's kind of a power breaking ball. The sinker is not something Wisdom likes. He likes the four-seamer over the sinker.
In at the knees, 99 again, strike 2. We saw the umpires check Julio Urias on his way out. What I don't understand, and I'm sure there's a reason for it, but whether it's Urias or anybody, why wouldn't you check them when they come into the game or start the inning? Why would you? Who cares if he gets caught with something? He's just got it out, right?
Yeah, they've done it. They're doing periodic. They're doing periodic challenges, and you know, they do it early, and then when they come out, and the purpose of coming out would be if it's, you know, if you think I've checked you once and I'm not going to check you again,
right? And
then it's just a suspension.
Right, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. But you're also affecting this ball game theoretically. I'm not talking about Urias.
Right.
I'm talking about whoever. But you should check them coming onto the mound, because if they're clean, well, now, okay, go to work. But
they do that in a lot of situations. I don't know what they've done today and the choices of today, but I hear you. Yeah, that's, again, I think in 2 weeks we're going to see a different version.
0-2 the count. Runner at first, 1 out. That's foul. And I'm just saying, unless, you know, something magically appears on the mound after they come in from the bullpen or back to work from the dugout, once they're checked, they're checked. I mean, he's already gotten an out here in the 6th inning. He struck out his 12th of the game. Well, if they found something, he's already gotten an out in the inning. Why wouldn't you check him on the way into the inning? Only the umpire approved Rosenbag is allowed, and if you're caught, it's 10 games with pay.
Clubs cannot replace suspended player on the roster. This is the end of the first week of this. There's strike 3 on another good fastball, this time at 100 from Kelly, 2 out.
Yeah, and you mentioned it when we were talking off air. It's like the only, one of the downsides is not every pitcher's doing it, right? But every pitcher's getting checked. So it makes it look like every pitcher's done it. So you're trying to decipher, and we even talked with
a couple managers saying, hey, I got a couple pitchers that don't do it, and they're going to be ticked if something happens where they got to lose a glove or lose a hat when they don't really have that substance.
I do want to get to Kenny as Jake Marisnick, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, tries to figure out Joe Kelly. Go ahead run at first, 2 out. 2-2 game. Just 101 for strike 1. Kenny.
Well, Joe, I know it's not a great look having pitchers checked, and some people have raised the point that, hey, man, why are you doing this to your own players? But the players, the teams were warned before the start of the season that MLB was going to be inspecting balls and looking into this. And when the situation got even worse than it was before, the league felt compelled to act. Now, in the end, this situation going on right now, what we're seeing with the checks, can be resolved relatively easily if, one, we get a universal substance that is approved that allows for enhanced grip without enhanced performance, and 2, if we get a tackier ball similar to the one they use in Japan.
It comes out of the box with a bag ready to go.
Yeah, it does.
0-2 the count on Marisnick. Joe Kelly skips that in there. Because Kenny is easily twice as smart as I am. Kenny, can I just ask you what the reasoning would be to check somebody on their way out of the game instead of on their way to go pitch?
I'm not sure, Joe. All I know is that the starting pitcher has to be checked at least twice per game. The relievers, other than the closer, as they go off the mound, and the closer as he comes into the game. That's how it works.
1-2 the count, 2 out. Urias is knocked out here in the 6th inning, but pitched great. Joe Kelly And he's come out of the bullpen throwing fire, and now he checks on the runner at first. That's Baez. He's got 9 steals. The hitter is Marisnick. If he could pick his pitch, I'm sure trying to swipe a bag isn't the furthest thing from the mind of Javi Baez.
Yeah, one thing the Dodgers don't do well as a staff is hold runners. The Padres have been stealing all over
them this year so far.
Marisnick strikes out. And the inning is over.
Will he be checked? Will he be checked? Will he be checked? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. 2-2 after 5.5. Have my glasses, my hat. You can have it all. First pitch, a high strike. Called against Gavin Lux from Wick, who's come out of the bullpen throwing really well.
See the difference between Wick and, of course, Kelly. Kelly, you could see that the velocity is just jumping out of his hand, but the deception of Wick makes it look like it's 95, 98 to the hitters because of the angle he throws. Big, tall lefty with an unorthodox delivery and release point.
A 1 pitch is in for strike 2. Lux, then Taylor, then Pollock. Bottom 3 in the lineup coming up for the Cubs in the 7th, and a 2-2 ball game, game 3 of a 4-game set. They go at it tomorrow late afternoon, early evening again. Check swing, 1-2.
See, he hasn't even really gone to his curveball. He hasn't needed. He's been kind of blowing the fastball by a lot of these hitters. The hitters will tell you right away if they can see the ball or not. And something in his delivery and his big frame has not allowed the Dodgers really to connect yet.
2-2.
And that's what hitters don't want, obviously. With the game we talked about with velocity and the highest rate of hit batsmen, it's the one thing that you hope, the byproduct of what we're going through, that pitchers are able to still command the baseball, and they should in the summer. Like, this is the time to get used to not pitching with whatever they've been pitching with.
Two pitch is in for strike 3. We look back previous years in the Cubs and where their bullpen has been. It really hasn't been a strength. Numbers are decent there. Higher in 2019. Last year in the 60-game season, way higher. This year, 2.70 and almost 11 strikeouts
per 9 innings. Numbers are terrific for David Ross, who said, well, I've seen Brad Wick. I want to see more of it. It's going to be it for Wick, who faced 4, retired 4, and struck out 3. He was good. Pitching change for Chicago here in the 6th 2-2 game.
Starters reveal on ESPN. Don't miss the T-Mobile Home Run Derby July 12th, also on ESPN. It's all leading up to the 2021 MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 13th, only on Fox. Dan Winker comes into the ball game, 3rd pitcher of the day for Chicago. Taylor takes a ball.
He's been as good as you would want with the number of games he's been in. Hard cutter usage, 55%, fastball, and then a slider.
Check swing, he went, says the first base umpire Ryan Blakeney. He'll have the plate tomorrow night. 1 ball, 1 strike. So they get great work out of Brad Wick and now ask for the same out of Dan Winker. That's high. The big three at the back end of their bullpen with Tepera, Chafin, and Kimbrel have allowed 3 earned runs over the last 52 1/3 innings.
They're on a roll and they're connected. A lot of the strikeouts and damage that Winker has is going to be up in the zone. Right there is where he wants to live. Hitters are just absolutely not hitting that pitch, especially when he's behind in the count, which is rare. But he has a release point that allows him to cut the baseball and elevate the baseball to the top of the zone.
Double switch when Winker came in. We'll tell you who's playing center. With a full count now on Taylor. Rafael Ortega comes off the bench. He'll bat in the number 9 spot, and the pitcher now is hitting in the 6th spot where Marisnick was. It'll be Hayward, Alcantara, and Ortega in the 7th. 3-2 pitch, strikeout for out number 2.
You just can't hit that pitch with the approach of swinging up, right? And he's dotted the outside part of the plate twice with that hard cutter. He just seems comfortable, even when he's behind in the count, that he can locate this cutter. I mean, that's a tight cutter on the outside part of the plate that really has no chance for Taylor. See how he's swinging up. He's not staying on the ball. His thought is not to go to right center with that. It's to pull it, and that's going to be a tough pitch for Taylor to hit.
Base is empty now for Pollock. As AJ is gone, the Dodgers have gone for the most part. He's hit .319 in their wins, .175 in their losses. Obviously, many more factors involved, but when Pollock does damage at the plate, and last night he did it in that 6-2 win. 2-2 game in the 8th. Pollock hit a go-ahead 2-run shot. Muncy later, a 2-run home run in the 8th and a 6-2 victory. A high strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mills went 4, allowed 2 runs on 8 hits and really battled. Brad Wick an inning and a third, 3 strikeouts. Now Dan Winker. 1-1.
He's just staying stubborn over there, and he's trusting nobody's going to be able to hit me when I throw a ball out there and go the other way. The only chance you'd have against Winker is if he makes that cutter over the middle of the plate and makes a mistake.
Clevenger, the left-hander, is ready to go. One-two pitch. That's into the gap in right center field. It is down and up against. Ortega gets it back in. A 2-out double by Pollock. Go-ahead run in scoring position here in the 6th.
And see, that was a way better approach at the plate. Staying on the ball, not trying to pull it. That's the only way you can hit that pitch. It was Payne on the corner, cutting action, and he used that side of the plate to give him an opportunity to go to right center. Ball comes back just a little bit, but Pollock does a nice job staying through the ball and going with the pitch.
Falls to McKinstry. Another guy who can play all over, batting in the number 8 spot. That's one hop to Alcantara. And the inning is over. More good work out of this Cub bullpen. 7th inning now. 2-2 game.
Dodger Stadium 2-2 game, and in walks Jason Hayward to start the frame against the 3rd pitcher of the night now for the Dodgers, Garrett Clevenger.
Lefty, you see the numbers on the year. Basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball pretty straight. Curveball. And he's going to have to do something no other Dodger's been able to do, and that's get out. Jason Hayward.
2 for 2 against Urias, who struck out 12 in his 5 1/3 innings. Gets to face another lefty. Does Hayward, takes a strike. More action for the Dodgers in their bullpen. Bickford, the right-hander, is getting loose. Clevenger deals, and it's high and tight at 96, a ball and a strike. There's Phil. One pitch is in for strike two.
Tough pitch for Hayward to hit. The ball looked like it was starting right at him. Clevenger's starting off the third base rubber, and he throws it right at a hip, it looks like, and then he catches the bottom part of the strike zone. I wonder if he'll try and sweep this one or a fastball away after that.
1-2 is hit in the air, foul down the right field line. This game is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. One of the questions in tonight's contest: how many different players will pitch in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning? Play along on the app for your chance to win.
4.
Okay, mark that down, America.
Take it to the bank.
Boy, it's risky. But it's free to play, so, you know, whatever. 1-2 pitch is slapped down the left field line. It is gone for a home run. Just inside the foul pole. I think the Dodgers are saying they want that checked. Hayward was watching it all the way, and Justin Turner's walking toward his dugout saying that needs to be reviewed. But right now it's 3-2 Cubs on an opposite field home run by Jason Hayward, who's 3 for 3 and has reached in each of his last 7 plate appearances.
Well, either way, it was a bad breaking ball, and now they're going to change the call to a foul ball. But it was a hanging breaking ball, and he was able to stay on.
They didn't even need to look at the replay. The third base umpire, DJ Rayburn, was overruled.
And now David's going to ask him to look at it.
So now it's Ross asking for the replay, because as it stands now, it's called a foul ball. So one overruled the other as far as the umpires, and they'll take a look.
Well, the last 2 curveballs have been kind of dicey, and the second one that he threw, of course, Hayward seeing the ball pretty much today off of lefties. David is hoping there's some evidence that will overturn the overturn.
See if we can see it. It's tracking by the foul pole. I can't see it. Can you see it?
No,
I can't even see the ball.
I can't either.
Here's another look. There it is, coming in the top there. It's a magic baseball. It just disappears to me. I don't know how you overturn it, and remember, they've already overturned it.
Yeah.
So with regard to replay, it would have to be overturned to be made a home run.
You can't double stamp a triple stamp either, or however that goes.
So first it was the Dodgers that were going to ask for it. They didn't even have to. And now it's the Cubs asking and hoping that something on that replay shows that it was fair.
This game very similar to last night's game, score, and they're going to call it a foul ball. Clevenger's going to have to make a better 2-strike pitch if he wants to retire Jason Hayward.
So Hayward will dig back in. He has reached base in his last 6 plate appearances, and his average is sitting just below 200.
Tempted to throw a fastball away here after all the slow breaking balls that he's thrown. Jason. Man, I put home run down in a pen. Darn it.
I did not write anything.
First mistake of the game.
Well, I mean, he could still make it right.
It's true.
Instead, he just gets a base hit. Red hot is Jason Heyward. And on base to start the 7th. He's reached in 7 straight plate appearances.
Incredible job by Heyward, taking advantage of the pitch and not in the location that, again, the Dodger pitchers wanted it to be with 2 strikes. Have to make a better pitch, lefty on lefty. And this pitch is center cut up. I would have just screamed a pitch off the plate, then setting up the breaking ball if you make the adjustment. But you see that first 3-hit game of the year.
Go ahead run is on with nobody out. Alcantara is at the plate. Good pitch there for strike 1 from Clevenger. Double switch when the Cubs went back to their bullpen, so Ortega is in the on deck circle. Bottom 3 in the lineup here in the 7th inning, tie game. Check on Heyward.
I don't know how many times Alcantara has even swung today. A strikeout and a walk. And batting in that ever so tough 8th position in the National League. Now this one will be followed by a pinch, or the double switch that the Cubs put in, so it's not the pitcher behind him.
That's down, a ball and a strike.
You really, in the National League, have to be mentally tough in the 8th spot. You got to guess what the pitcher's trying to do based on the circumstances. With the pitcher on deck, you just don't get pitched to very often.
Ortega putting a sticky substance on the bat. That's allowed. 1-1 pitch. Good delivery from Clevenger, strike 2. Sergio waits. Big hole on the right side of the infield. Chops one up the middle. Glove, step, throw, double play. Handled by Lux. 2 out, nobody on.
Yeah, the hops and everything about it made it almost tailor-made, even though Lux was playing deep. He's playing deep, and this second hop right there allowed him to gather, touch, throw, easy double play. Some emotional changes for Mr. Clevenger. Homer, not a homer. Base hit, double play.
And now Ortega hitting 196. A couple of home runs. Left-handed batter takes ball 1 low. Dodgers in the bottom of this inning will have the 9-1 and 2 hitters. Two and 0. So that means a pinch hitter, then Mookie, then Max.
Well, ideally, Dave Roberts wants badly this out recorded so that he can and doesn't have to make another change and think about double switching or whatever, so he can have a fresh pinch hitter in the bottom half.
2-0 breaking ball in for a strike. 2-1 pitch headed in, and a line drive base hit into right. Pitch was up. Ortega clubbed it into right field, and he's on with 2 down here in the 7th.
Well, he's going to have to make that move now.
With Wilson Contreras coming up. It's double switch time. Right-hander Bickford is coming out of the bullpen. Wilson Contreras is coming up. And the Dodgers having to make a double switch here in the 7th in a tie game.
America travels to our nation's capital to celebrate Independence Day. The Dodgers visit the Nationals. Others will see the Red Sox and the A's, or the Astros and the Indians. All starts next Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. Phil Bickford now with 2 out. A runner on, that's Ortega. Double switch, and we'll give you the changes here in a moment. The big piece is that Cody Bellinger now in the game in center. Swing and a miss by Contreras. So Bellinger is in center. Chris Taylor talked about his versatility, moves in to play second base, and the pitcher will bat in the 8th spot where Zach McKinstry was.
Well, Phil has 2 pitches, fastball, curveball. He'll throw his fastball pretty much 85% of the time. And the curveball you just saw leading off against Contreras. Does a nice job against right-handers, holding them to 167 batting average.
Two quick strikes on Contreras, 0 for 3.
And that number 4 I gave you is now in jeopardy because of that move right there for the 7th, 8th, and 9th pitchers use. So sorry.
But it's not over. I mean, it likely is. Oh, 2 runner is going. Throw down is not made. Smith couldn't get a grip. And a stolen base by Ortega. That's big with 2 down.
Yeah, they could have gone on any one of those pitches. It's not a very quick move that he has to home plate. With the high leg kick, he's concentrating on the 2-strike pitch. That was an easy bag. Even though they didn't come up with the ball, I don't know that they would have come up with the out had he made the transfer and throw.
So the easier RBI chance for Contreras. He's driven in 30. Check swing, he went. And that ends the inning. Contreras doesn't agree. Bickford, a nice job to come in, get the strikeout after the stolen base. Time to stretch at Dodger Stadium. Still tied 2-2 on baseball night in America.
To get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your favorite team and the rest of the league. Cody Bellinger took over in the double switch, batting in the number 9 spot. Coming back off a strained hamstring. Earlier dealt with a fracture in his leg, and there are the numbers. Just 1 home run. Takes a strike from Dan Winker.
It's a good matchup. Cody stands pretty tall kid, but he has an uppercut swing, so a lot of the hard throwing pitchers will pitch him up and in and see if he can lay off of it.
Winkler deals, and a swing and a miss by Bellinger.
That's a perfect example. It's such a big and violent swing that if you make a mistake, it goes a long way, but you can tie him up. And as he's trying to get into rhythm, you know it's probably a little out of sorts for him since he's come back.
Here's a high fly ball into right center. Didn't get it all, and to his left is Ortega. 1 out. Winkler now has gone 1 full inning in the ball game and allowed 1 hit. Tonight's telecast sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Subway, eat fresh.
Ball was down, gave Bellinger a chance to get to it. He wanted that ball up, but jammed him just enough.
Back to the top, and Mookie Betts doubled leading off the game for the Dodgers and scored on a double by Muncy, who scored on a hit by Turner through the right side. First 3 batters produced 2 runs. No damage since. A lot of activity on the bases, but nothing pushed across the plate. 1-1 from Winkler. Mookie is a career .280 hitter before the month of July, and after that in his career, when the summer heats up, if it's not already hot enough in June, so does Mookie, hitting .313 the rest of the regular season from July on. 2-1. Winkler deals. It's outside. 3-1.
That's the other form of discipline that Mookie has always been good at. Not expanding the zone. Last year, historically, didn't miss much.
That's ball 4 and a 1-out walk. Winkler wanting to find out exactly where that missed. His first walk out of the Cubs bullpen. And with that, we'll give you a quick word from Hankook Tire.
Never halfway. Hankook Tire.
Here's Muncy.
Another great matchup. Muncy in his discipline likes the ball up and in. Or should I say in the middle third of the plate, he likes to, that's his power stroke. I mean, he just doesn't miss it when they make a mistake in that lane. Still tie him up and in like you can just about every hitter, but
fouled away, strike 1.
Ooh, you don't see that very often, and he's shaking his head because he doesn't swing at the first pitch too many times. But he was looking to do damage right there. That's that area he just crushes.
Winkler wondering if Mookie Betts, who has 7 steals, has thoughts of taking off here with 1 out in the 7th.
The reason I was looking forward to this matchup is because the majority of the strikeouts are inside to Muncy. And you got a guy who has a great cutter inside, but it also brings in that nitro zone. If you make a mistake, you got to be pretty precise when facing a guy like Muncy, who doesn't typically expand the zone. It's a good matchup.
Good pitch in on the hand, strike 2. Oh-2 pitch struck him out on a delivery that was up, and a big out picked up by Dan Winkler. 2 away.
That was a big out. There's that cutting action. And that late life to the ball that just gets by Max Muncy.
Well, everybody's been talking about this Cubs bullpen, and in particular, Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, and Craig Kimbrell. But Brad Wick and Dan Winkler want to say, don't forget about us. Wick was really good. An inning in the third, 3 strikeouts, and now a check on Betts again as Winkler deals with Justin Turner.
If you haven't been watching this whole game, you missed the fact that the Dodgers had a chance to really blow this game open. The fact that it's 2-2 speaks to what the Cubs season's really been like. They just kind of grind out and make big plays. They picked off a guy at third, got out of big jams, and now they've turned it over to their bullpen where they feel real good about taking home the victory.
Strike one. That's Matt Gangle,
our director, listening to you and showing Chris Taylor, who was lost on the bases twice in this game. Caught stealing and then picked off by Wilson Contreras. Big piece of the route to 2-2 here in the 7th. Cubs in the 8th will have their big bats, Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez. Anybody gets on Wisdom.
Oh, 1. Strike 2.
Taylor was at third base, or at second base, got caught stealing with 1 out, and then with 1 out at third base was caught leaning. You never know what the outcomes would have been had those 2 plays gone different. I know that his cutter, Winkler's cutter's been really good. I got to see a slider here if I'm facing Turner, just based on the numbers of what you're trying to do. Get something off the plate spinning.
Winkler ready with another 0-2 pitch. He got him. From Mills to Brad Wick to Dan Winkler. Terrific work yet again, especially by the Chicago bullpen. Good game on a Saturday, 2-2 into the 8th in LA.
8th, fun night. A lot of twists and turns, and only 4 runs have crossed the plate. Joe Buck, the great John Smoltz to my right, and this has been fun, man.
Yeah, it's been amazing kind of switch from what we thought was going to happen early on. And again, I've seen games like this where you're on the other side of it thinking.
Line drive caught off the bat of Bryant into the glove of Turner, 1 away.
You're thinking, man, we should be up 5, 6, 7, nothing. And you look at the scoreboard and it's only got 2 for the Dodgers. It's been kind of the theme lately for them. As you see this line drive caught by Turner. And, you know, yesterday, I guess in the 8th inning, they broke out of it and went on to win the game. But the last 5 or 6 games, the offense has been not where Dave Roberts and, of course, the Dodgers want it to be.
Bryant 0 for 4 tonight. Here's Rizzo, who smashed a home run into the bleachers in right back in the 4th. Made it a 2-1 game at the time. Grounds one right up the middle. 2 pitches, 2 out. Play made by Lux.
I don't say that too often in late innings of a game off a reliever, but the likelihood of this has got to be tough for Baez to go up there and take a pitch, right?
He has to.
I mean, you almost think he does, but I don't know that he will.
I mean, far be it from me to talk about unwritten rules.
This has got to be torture for him if he follows that
kind of protocol. But I'm going to say he's swinging.
Really?
I'm saying he's swinging.
You're going to give a guy the ability to have a 3-pitch inning.
I mean, I typically know, but just based on the way that his approach is.
What's it gonna be, Javi?
Yep. 3 pitches, 3 outs. Another unwritten rule crumbled up and thrown into the trash can. Get off my lawn! 2-2. Today's telecast is sponsored by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance, and by American Express. See all that you can expect when you're with Amex. Baseball's 2 biggest events of the summer back-to-back. The action begins at the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on ESPN, July 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And catch baseball's biggest stars at the 91st MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 13th, right here on Fox. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern. And there's the American League side. I showed you the National League side earlier, and there are the leading
Ballot getterers. Buxton, Trout, and Judge in the outfield. I don't read fast enough to tell you who is on the infield.
I can tell you that Mr. Brothers likes his fastball, but he's going to get a lot of right-handers out via the strikeout on his slider. Very hard downward break, and if he's going good, he gets his right-handers to swing and miss at that slider with 2 strikes.
There's a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike from Rex. It's Devers, Bogarts, Simeon, and Guerrero Jr. Salvador Perez, the catcher, and Ohtani. You and I haven't really talked about Ohtani much, but what he's doing is
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 1 ball, 1 strike, and now strike 2 off the bat of Will Smith. He's got an ERA of 2.5, and he's hit, I don't know, 24 home runs, somewhere in that ballpark.
It's crazy.
There you go.
Absolutely crazy. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to just speak to how good this young man is. Look, he's trying something that we haven't seen in a long time, and he's very successful. But if all he did was pitch, okay, if all he did was pitch every 5 days and got the reps and learned the style that he's learning, he's on that kind of pace of Jacob deGrom. He has that kind of stuff. That just speaks how valuable his arm is.
That's strike 3. Good pitch by Brothers, 1 away.
The fact that he's doing what he's doing offensively just makes the matters even more remarkable to speak of the talent that he has. But his arm is unreal, and we're not really getting to see the full fruits of that because his talent away from it is just as unreal.
And so it's on Joe Madden, the manager of the Angels, to figure out how to navigate and squeeze the most out of Ohtani, the pitcher, and Ohtani, the hitter.
It's not the easiest of situations.
Bottom of the 8th, good game, 2-2, 1 out.
Gavin Lux now. .95 down and away from Brothers.
Baseball that got thrown on the field, so we'll time action.
Keegan Thompson, the right-hander, who is one of 5 left in the bullpen for the Cubs, but they're trying to avoid using Chafin and Tepera. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now, when you think about what the Cubs have been doing, right? We talked about the starting rotation has the slowest average velocity in all of baseball. But what that does for them is if they can mix and match that, then they bring in some heat out of the pen. So you're really giving the offense a combination that not many clubs have. It's usually a lot of velocity that a lot of clubs are getting no matter who comes in the game, and Cubs offer a little different strategy and a different look.
Lux up and after it. Now in the hole 1-2. Wick an inning and a third, 3 strikeouts. Winkler an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, a walk. Brothers struck out the first batter he faced, Will Smith, and has 2 strikes on Gavin Lux.
And you know what's interesting is I'm not saying they can't get hurt, but the likelihood of a guy who doesn't
throw max effort, you would think, is going to stay healthier. Kyle Hendricks, it's got to be kind of fluky if those guys, even Alec Mills and
Zach Davies. So, you know, we'll see how that plays out for them if they can stay healthy as a starting 5 and then
take some pressure off that bullpen, which we know is already good. It might be just good enough for the Cubs to win that division.
2-2 the count. Brothers spins another one home, and it's a full count. Kyle Hendricks 10-4 overall. He's on an 8-0 run over his last 8 starts. The rest of the starting pitchers came in 19-23 with an ERA of 4.75.
Yeah, they've had a couple games in there that have kind of inflated that ERA where they gave up a bunch of runs early. And Kyle Hendricks went through that early, and then he's just gotten completely connected again with his mechanics and spotting it up.
3-2 pitch, just swing and a miss. Another strikeout racked up by this bullpen.
2 away, and we'll give you another quick word from Hankook.
Never halfway. Hankook Tire.
Had a chance to visit with Clayton Kershaw before tonight's game, getting a workout in. He will deal tomorrow for the Dodgers. Feeling good, bouncing around, happy. Not only has his ring, but got to present Jock Peterson his ring here on Thursday night as he came back with his new club, the Cubs. With 2 out, Taylor, who's 2 for 3, takes a ball, and I don't know how Contreras caught that.
My math's right. That's the 25th strikeout in today's game. I had to just do a quick add. Could be off, but 25 strikeouts. That's a lot.
Good job. You're right. The Cubs bullpen has picked up 11 outs, 8 of them via the strikeout. Julio Urias struck out a career high 12 in 5 1/3.
Price and Jansen getting ready in the bullpen. 2-0 pitch is down, 3-0. Taylor's hit 10 home runs. I mean, power was not a part of his game when he was traded by Seattle in a deal that nobody paid any attention to the Dodgers, and he's just gotten better and better and better, and could very well be an all-star.
Yeah, he did transform his swing and change it. It was going in the wrong direction, and it really has changed his kind of outlook offensively. We know what he can do defensively, but now he's become a bigger threat with gap to gap and power. And what do you think? 3-0?
Oh yeah.
Let him go?
I would.
Okay.
Nobody that matters is asking me.
No, I just did.
You matter, but it's not going to have any bearing on what happens. 3-0, he takes a strike at 87.
Slider, yeah, he felt like 3-0 was going to be a pitch he might hit too, so he threw a 3-0 slider just to make sure.
If Taylor reaches, A.J. Pollock is next. Trying to launch, and again, not getting the fastball ahead on the count. Now it's full.
Swings right underneath it.
Next one swung on and missed. Another strikeout, and Brothers strikes out the side in the 8th. 9th inning. 2-2.
Two teams had met in the NLCS in both 2016 and 2017. Going at it. Cubs won it in 2016, then went on to beat Cleveland in the World Series, and the Dodgers won in 2017. Lost to the Astros in 7 in much talked about after the fact World Series. With what was going on with the Astros and the trash can and all the other stuff that was happening, as this one rides way inside on Wisdom from Bickford, who threw 3 pitches to get 3 outs last inning.
Yeah, Wisdom's trying to salvage his day here. 3 strikeouts and 3 at-bats. Bickford has had relatively easy outing to this point.
Jock Peterson on deck. But a part of those NLCSs on the other side. Now a Cub for at least a year. 2-0. Wisdom has popped 10 home runs. He struck out 3 times tonight, but he has shown tremendous power. Twice hit 31 home runs in a AAA season. 2-0 pitch.
Letting it eat there. That's that cutting action and the ball in the middle of the zone, but a big swing. Wisdom trying to take that lead.
Two-one delivery is on its way. 2-2. Same pitch, same result. Kenny Rosenthal.
Out the Cubs bullpen tonight, and rightly so, but Phil Bickford, another example of how the Dodgers can take guys and turn them into something. He was a waiver claim from the Brewers in May, and now pitching in big situations.
Yeah, man, they have been so good with that. We talked about Muncy. Bickford's on that list.
Chris Taylor. Here's a 2-2 now.
A strikeout as Bickford comes back for out number 1 here in the 9th.
I mean, that's just basically right down the middle. Here it is. Try and hit it. And Wisdom's had a rough day today. 4 strikeouts. And just that cutting action of a 4-seam that is bio.
Dave Roberts is making sure that Jock Peterson is announced as the pinch hitter. He has been. We saw the left-hander Price getting ready to go, and we should see him right here. Another name on that list for the Dodgers of
players who have come to this organization and really improved. Justin Turner. Great work by Phil Bickford, relieved here in the 9th. Here comes Price.
Mr. Cartoon, renowned tattoo artist, has been with us tonight. What talent. The late great Tommy Lasorda. And the Dodgers wearing that number 2 patch on their jerseys. Same can be said for Don Sutton, a good friend to both you, John, and me, and a wonderful man who was lost his number 20 on their sleeve as well. Here's David Price. The numbers, his 19th game, and Jock Peterson, who got the ring here on Thursday night, stays in to face the left-hander. He's had a good year. 11 home runs, 33 RBIs, and he's added an extra element of some grit and some fire to this Cub roster.
Yeah, he has. They're glad they have him, and he's getting a chance to play a little bit more. Of course, when he played here, strictly platoon.
7 years a Dodger. Hits one in the air to center. Bellinger staggering a bit, but recovers to make the catch. 2 out.
Ball changed directions on Bellinger.
The ball was scorched. Time for Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Jason Hayward Not just tonight, but he's been on a run. Last 3 games, 7 for 8, 3 walks, a double, 3 runs scored, and his first 3-hit game of the year has come tonight.
Yeah, they need him to get going, and this is a pretty good time if they're going to continue their winning ways offensively. Cubs have improvements to make with their offense, and David Ross talked about that he likes the direction Jason Heyward has gone the last week.
He's hit 5 home runs this season. Takes a strike from Price.
Well, Price didn't pitch last year, and everyone kind of wondered what his role would be this year. Would he get back to the starting rotation? He said, I'll do whatever it takes. And right now he's in the bullpen pitching some big innings. It wouldn't surprise me if they stretch him out before the year's over and he becomes a starter to give some of those other guys a rest.
2 quick strikes on Heyward. Kimbrel's ready if the Cubs grab the lead. Otherwise, it appears it would be Keegan Thompson. 2 out, 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. One-two pitch, 2-2. Bottom part of the order coming up for the Dodgers in the bottom of this 9th. 2-2 pitch. Popped up, playable, foul territory. Smith. Dodger bullpen terrific tonight as well. Kelly, Clevenger, Bickford, and now Price. Coming up 3rd at the bottom of the 9th, Cody Bellinger. Baseball night in America tied 2-2. Price did his job, and now he and the rest of us watch the right-hander Keegan Thompson get loose.
Keegan will
rely on 3 or 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. And he's held right-handers to about a 212, left-handers 205. So he's done a nice job in that category. You see the numbers on the year. Trying to get it to extra innings.
Saw those numbers, not good for a really good team. 9-14 in 1-run games, 1-7 if this were to go to extra innings, are the Dodgers. As they are 14 games over 500, started the day 4.5 out behind the Giants in the NL West. Pollock out in front of the plate. Contreras gets the out. Pollock 1 for 4, and the batter will be Beatty off the bench.
That ended a 5 strikeouts in a row that the Dodgers, off of the Cubs relievers, had been part of.
Matt Beatty, 3 homers on the season, hitting .256. A lot of at-bats spread around for these Dodger hitters and their bench players because of the injuries that LA has suffered this year with Bellinger. He's back. Muncy, he's back. Seager, he's not back. Ball 1 from Thompson. Jansen is getting loose for the Dodgers in their pen. If he pitches tonight, that means we're going to the 10th. That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Beatty likes that ball the middle of the zone and up. Really likes the high pitch. Looking for one that he can drive and end it right here with 1 swing, of course. Get him out down below that zone. Get him to chase.
Hits it in the air to center. Ortega circles it and now has it. 2 down. Full swing, but just didn't catch it. Good work by Thompson. 2 up, 2 down. Here comes Bellinger. Back this week off the injured list. Hamstring is healthy. Fracture in his leg is healed. And now trying to go to work with the stats. You see that bottom line hitting just 214. 1 home run.
Well, you know it's going to be a healthy swing one way or another.
Two 2-0. We go to the 10th. Hayward would start the inning on second in the bottom part of the order. Alcantara, Ortega, and then back to the top, Contreras. It appears they'll be taking on Jansen. Bellinger can make us all forget about that, as that's called a strike. 2-1.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch for Bellinger because that's going to expand the zone for him in his mind. That's off the plate. And off the plate easily, and now you got to go right back there. So one mistake pitchers make, you got to make it close so that the enticement is for him to expand the zone. He didn't make it close. Non-competitive pitch. After you get 2 inches off the plate, just keep going right there. See how much more you can get.
3-1. High fly ball into center. Walk it off. Bellinger. Dodgers win it 3-2. He came into the game as part of a double switch in that number 9 spot back in the 7th. And Cody Bellinger ends the ball game with a 2-out shot into center field. Our Hyundai lift of the game. What do you think it is?
It's a healthy swing on a pitch middle of the plate. Tried to get it outside the strike zone. He knew it as soon as he hit it. There's that famous swing of Bellinger. Mentioned how he gets tied up in the zone, but that sweet swing down in the zone might just get him on track, and who knows, maybe even the Dodgers on track.
Dodgers have won 2 of the first 3 of this series and ended in the bottom of the 9th inning. And with all the talk about the Cubs bullpen, and for good reason, the Dodger bullpen in this one was outstanding. Kelly, Clevenger, Bickford, Price, who's the winner. The loser, Keegan Thompson, and the hero, Cody Bellinger. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Cody, looks like you had a tough strike call in that at bat against Thompson. It goes to 3-1. What are you looking for?
Oh man, just a pitch to drive. I saw him well. They were balls, but I was seeing him well. So I was in that moment, I was just hoping he threw me a strike right there, so I could put a good swing on it.
It's been a tough season for you physically. How are you feeling, both with your body and at the plate?
Man, honestly, I feel great in both. First time I've been on the shelf in my career, in minor leagues, big leagues. So it's been, a learning experience. I'm learning a lot about my body. So, it is what it is. I'm happy to be back out here with the team and stay healthy and just help this team win any way I can.
Eventually, Corey comes back too. You guys will be at full strength. What do you expect from this offense then?
Yeah, it's going to be nice. I think we haven't had our lineup in since game 4, so But, you know, everyone's been banged up this year. You can't really use that as an excuse. I mean, it's going to be nice to get him back, though.
Were you expecting to have the whole day off? How does this work? What were you thinking about as the game progressed?
I mean, it's the National League, you know, so an off day is an off day until like the 5th inning. So, you know, we all know that mentally. So I knew I was going to get in at some point today.
Cody, congratulations. Good to see you back.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
What a moment that is for Cody Bellinger. Just his 20th game of the season. What a moment. He's come back twice off the injured list. He said, I'm not worried about stats. I'm at that point in my career, I just want to help my team win. Well, you know, he's been thinking about the home runs. He gets his 2nd of the season, and he helps his team win. Heck, he won it for his team. 3-2 Dodgers win it for John and Ken and Pete Macheska and Matt Gangle and all of us here at Dodger Stadium. What a good game. What a night. Studio on the other side of the break. Good night from Dodger Stadium.